last year with little injuries. Signed him from Stuttgart for 12.7 million the season before last in that big trolley dash of signings. Well, new signings, Ibrahim Sangare, playing alongside him, is someone that I think we've all been looking forward to watching after being picked up by PSV, one of the outstanding players in the Eredivisie last season. Did well in the Champions League qualifiers as well. Here is Jordan Bayer bringing the ball out from defence. Always nabbed off him. Bayer, Wonyu followed him. Callum Hudson-Odoi is to the left. It's played to him. His right footed shot is parried away down low to the right by the goalkeeper Trafford and out to the far side. Turned over brilliantly by the relentless work of Awonyi. And as they work the ball out to Callum Hudson-Odoi again, there was another problem for Burnley.
Well, the problem was because they give the ball away. Bayer gave it away with a brilliant work from Awonyi. But then he had a free pass to Hudson-Odoi, who gets a free shot because Roberts is nowhere near him. They can't carry on like that. It's just too easy. He's nowhere near him when they lose the ball.
When they lose the ball, he's almost playing as a defensive central midfield player.
It's bizarre. Talk about a lack of awareness, lack of spotting danger.
Here is Mangala, forward up towards the halfway line. He looks up and didn't find an option, so has to go backward of square into the path of Sangare, who travels up towards the halfway line, just left of the centre circle, releases the ball to Joe Worrell. 17 minutes played, Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 0. Now Forest have started brighter, and there's a few holes in that Burnley defence, and they have conceded a lot of chances in the early part of the season. Defensively, they need to sharpen up a bit. They've conceded 4 goals more than their XG face, which is almost twice as bad as any other team in the league at this early stage of the season. Hudson-Odoi thinks he's won the ball over on the far side. The referee says there was a foul committed on Connor Roberts. And I'll tell you what, it could have been a 50-50 that.
Yeah, it looks like it's hard to tell, isn't it, without seeing it in a slow-mo, but he shouldn't be in that position where he's having to do 50-50s with him. His positioning's all right, is a foul.
That was interesting because I was looking at you say that it's a foul as Adrian was shaking his head saying no way. There you go, so it was a 50-50.
There's the Hudson-Odoi chance. He didn't quite get hold of it actually. It's a decent save, but he's got so much time.
Again, a little bit of extra time being taken by Al-Dakhil over on the far side. The Belgian making his 4th start in a row. Was playing at right back actually and is tucked in once again today to play alongside Jordan Bayer, who was such a success for Burnley last season when he was on loan from German football, signed permanently in the summer. Burnley have possession on halfway, picked up by Gudmundsson, who sends it long towards the edge of the Forest box, but it was an easy interception for Gonzalo Montiel. Scored the winning penalty in the World Cup final for Argentina. He nudges the ball back to his goalkeeper, and Matt Turner will start to play out from the goal away to our left-hand side. Nottingham Forest, who signed 15 new players in the summer, have had a lot to contend with in terms of numbers. It has meant that Ethan Horvath, Emmanuel Dennis and John Joe Shelby were left out of the 25-man squad. Shelby went off to Turkey, Dennis did too, but Horvath had to stay and he said not to be very happy. They released Bianconi today just to trim down that squad. It's very difficult to balance such a big dressing room, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the problems he'll have moving forward with a squad that's got stronger depth and more quality in, because players do get frustrated and disappointed. I think they've signed probably too many. Although the squad does look better, it is still heavy for a team that's not in Europe.
Ball nudged right by Sangare, midway inside Burnley territory. It's back out towards this right-hand side. Forest coming forward with Elanga. The Swede takes a jink infield, runs into traffic and then goes back to Worrell, who spreads it wide, and then Gonzalo Montiel just allowed it to run through his legs because he wanted it to go the other side so he could attack the goal away to our right. But he just didn't get it quite right, and as he skipped over it, the ball just slipped off the turf, and it's out for a throw in the left full-back position. Vincent Kompany, decked out in his familiar uniform of navy suit with baseball cap, white t-shirt and bright white trainers, getting ready to have a word with his team, trying to coach his team. In the stands, not too far from us, two famous supporters of both these two teams, Stuart Broad, Nottingham Forest through and through, and Jimmy Anderson, big Burnley fan, and I think that was Stuart Broad's dad, wasn't it? Chris Broad up there as well, sitting in the stands. Stuart Broad is a big fan of Talk Sport, I'm reliably informed.
Why wouldn't he be?
Especially with you on it every week.
Exactly. Exactly that.
Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 0. You're listening to Talk Sport. Ball out of play. It's actually still in the left full-back position because he's been taking such a long time overtaking these throw-ins, and he's had 2 now. It's gone back. There's a little bit of a hesitation, and it's cleared away eventually by Josh Cullen upfield down toward the left-hand side of the Burnley attack, but there's nowhere there. And actually, Burnley, after initially starting quite patiently and being good on the ball, have just lost their way a little bit in the game.
And Forest have grown a little bit, just on those throw-ins, really interesting, because when you take throw-ins, I think you do need to wait a little bit for the movement. Great shot.
Lovely. Gibbs White skips the ball over the head of Bayer and runs towards the edge of the penalty area. He goes down the right side. He pulls it back through into the box. At the far post there's Callum Hudson-Odoi. Did he get tripped as he tried to turn past Charlie Taylor? Well, he got up very quickly because it was just a slip. He poked the ball through the middle of the penalty area and it was cleared away by the Burnley defence. But another very quick, lightning attack brought about by a beautiful bit of skill in the initial phase by Gibbs White, who lifted it over the top of the German defender.
Well, Gibbs White is coming into the space there and receiving the ball and using his skill and his creativity, and it's great to see.
Nwonyi putting pressure on Bayer, who dealt with the ball this time very well in the left full-back position after it went over the top and into the Burnley half of the field. Nottingham Forest in charge at this moment in time, 21 minutes into the game. There's still no score on the scoreboard. And those fans away to our right in the Bridgeford stand, that stand that looks a bit odd because it has sort of 2 tiers at 2/3 of it and then drops down to have just 1 tier at the end. And they are giving their Burnley counterparts, who are also in that area of the ground, a little bit of stick at this moment in time. And they know their team has started brightly. Al-Dakhil plays it wide towards the right. It's collected over on that far side by Connor Roberts. He goes back infield towards the midpoint of the Burnley attack, and then it's all the way back by Al-Dakhil to his goalkeeper. They'll start again here, over halfway, just left of centre is Bayer, onto Koleosho, and then Brownhill with a ball through the box, which is dangerous, and it's dealt with by Olarena ahead of Gudmundsson, who was coming in at the far post, and that's a little bit more encouraging.
Yeah, it was a good run from Brownhill from the centre of the park, in behind the Forest back four, down the left-hand side. It was a ball into his path. He whipped it in early. He had some good numbers in the box, but good defending from Aina at the back post there. It's interesting with the Roberts situation because Hudson-Odoi is actually following him in there at times when he goes in from that right-back position. If I was the manager, I'd be telling him to leave him.
Did you forget your mate Steve Cooper's name there?
I did.
Ball delivered into the box, caught by the goalkeeper.
Do you know why I had in my head then, Steve Clark? I don't know why.
Ball thrown upfield by the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, over the halfway line. A quick release, trying to get Alanga away. It was actually fouled, Matt Turner, when he tried to release it by Koleosho. And then when it didn't quite materialise as a counter-attack, the advantage that was played initially was given back to Nottingham Forest. They have a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area, goalless. And
yeah, I'd be saying, when he goes in there, even though they're trying to have good possession, stay there, because as soon as we win it, you're in. Take a risk.
Hudson-Odoi, who hasn't been playing regular football in the Premier League for a while. He was on loan at Bayer Leverkusen last season from Chelsea. Had a discussion with the board. 25 gone. 0-0 the score. Nottingham Forest and Burnley live on TalkSport. Tomorrow night we've got live commentary from the Champions League. It's a 4 o'clock start for Drive tomorrow with Adrian Durham and Darren Bent moving into kick-off as we bring you live coverage from AC Milan against Newcastle United. Nwonyi doing well to win the ball after a long kick out by Matt Turner. He sends it wide to the left. It's picked up by Hudson-Odoi on the edge of the penalty area. It's pulled back by Mangala, who's gone on the underlap towards the byline. Didn't quite reach Nwonyi or Morgan Gibbs-White, and it was stabbed away by Al-Dakhil towards the far side. Back into the box it goes from Aina, and it's caught by James Trafford and will be cleared away by Burnley. I mean, look, we expect Forest to unleash their attacking talents. They always seem to score, especially here, but they've had a lot of opportunities so far.
Well, that came from another 2v1 down the left-hand side. So Hudson-Odoi is running at the full-back, and Aina comes flying past him again. Gudmundsson doesn't track him. He's got to track him there because it's a 2v1. It's a super little pass from Hudson-Odoi, and he pulls it back. And actually, Gibbs-White doesn't expect it. If he was ready for and expecting it, he gets a pretty much free shot and goal from 8-9 yards. But a good move again from Forest. It's that willingness to get forward from the full-back areas, that fitness, that desire to get there. And Goodmanson didn't match him. That's twice now. You've got to track him.
Sangare penalised for a foul on Amdouni after showing his physical prowess, getting round the pitch, putting real pressure on him. Burnley now have a free kick away to our right hand side. Steve Cuba's side have scored in their last 11 top flight games. You would expect them to go on the score sheet tonight, and they've certainly created enough opportunities to be ahead in this game. We've played 26 minutes, only one real clear cut opportunity that James Trafford has had to make a stop from, and that was Callum Hudson-Odoi on the edge of the penalty area, which he had to turn round the post. At the other end, Josh Brownhill's effort from distance, the only thing that Matt Turner really has had to worry about, and the goal away to our left in front of that Trent End. It's a great walk, by the way, isn't it, from the station down to this ground, going down by the canal.
I don't do trains.
Do you not?
I'm joking. I didn't.
Man of the people, Danny Murphy.
Do I not? You know I do every most weeks, but not to this particular stadium I drove. But yeah, it is a beautiful area.
The sun was shining as well today. It's a real picture. Ball is out of play over on the far side. Danny Murphy, former England international, alongside us in the commentary box, as he always is every Monday. White and Jordan back on Wednesday on that right hand side, and Dooney trying to get into a central position. He's had to move out towards that right just to try and find a little bit of joy. And as it goes towards Koleosha, there's a tackle that goes flying in from Montiel, and it's away for a throw-in.
It's what you want from a fullback. When the ball goes to a wide man, fullback's there, tight, ready, bam. Too many fullbacks stay inside and let the winger come running at them. If you get there first, he hasn't even got time to bring it down.
Good Johnson sends the ball brilliantly out towards the left-hand side with a space for Koleosho, who sends it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Sangare, reading the danger, manages to nab it away. It was a brilliant ball out to Koleosho, who Turner immediately bowls out towards the left-hand side, and they're off and running again. And Awoniyi Turner immediately bowls out towards the left-hand side, and they're off and running again. And Awoniyi manages to find Hudson-Odoi. Back to Awoniyi once again. On the halfway line, that attack's just going to slow slightly after the initial burst.
Bad decision. Had a good chance to go 4v4 there and came backwards.
They've still got the ball over on the far side for us as they come forward. A couple of inches from the left touchline. Hudson-Odoi sends it centrally back to Gibbs-White. Then it switches out towards the right. Elanga from Montiel, and then Elanga back towards Gibbs-White again. And is being shut down by Amdouni. Kept hold of the ball. Mangala being challenged by Brownhill. The ball goes wide to the right. Montiel up against Jordan Byatt, and he holds him off with a bit of strength and sees the ball go out for a throw-in down in the left corner of the field as Burnley look at it, right by the corner flag. But it is a real battle, this, isn't it?
It is. It's tactically a very interesting game as well. Just think sometimes for Montiel this side, when he does get the ball to Elanga, we haven't seen Elanga have a chance to really go at Taylor at fullback and just leave him, support him, let him go.
Another delay before Charlie Taylor takes the throw. No action taken up until this moment in time. It's tossed back in, but it's won by Gibbs-White. Poor clearance, comes back to Sangare as they look to stab it clear. Mangala trying to wrestle his way past Amdouni. The ball's run loose. Amdouni's given the foul, and it's a free kick to Burnley, 10 yards in front of their own penalty area. And for arguing there, Mangala is going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, he did all right initially, and then Amdouni's really good. Good feet, good strength. Buys the foul really well. Got to be careful now, Mangala.
Listening to Monday Night Game Night on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. And we are live at the City Ground in Nottingham, one of the most atmospheric grounds in the Premier League. It's a huge noise, and it was definitely one of the facets that Nottingham Forest used to get themselves on the road to safety last season. Here come Burnley over on the far side, and Amdouni's ball out from one side of the pitch to the other was a little bit behind Koleosho.
It's good feet from him again though, wasn't it? It's a lovely mover with the ball, glides with the ball past people.
Worked it back towards that right side with Joey Gudmundsson. Johan Berg Gudmundsson, as he should be officially titled. Back into Charlie Taylor. Taylor works it wide. Koleosho skips past Montiel, moves towards the edge of the penalty area and then can't release the run from Brownhill, but it was the edge of the penalty area and then can't release the run from Brownhill, but it comes back on the edge of the box, and then Cullen now dancing down the left-hand side. A low cross into the box, which almost came through to Gudmundsson. He couldn't convert it as it flashed through the 6-yard area and goes out the other side. Lyle Foster wins it back, moves it back to the edge of the area. Amdoni gets past one, plays it through the middle, goes through the 18-yard box a little bit towards the edge of the box, across the line almost, out towards this near side, and again no one gets on the end of it, and then Burnley have to go back to the halfway line. But this is a little bit better from the visitors.
Confidence is growing. Everything's coming through Amdoni.
And he scored the winner against Forest in the Cup. Had 4 shots in the Premier League and hasn't scored yet. He signed from Basel in July in a £16 million deal. He was excellent in the Europa Conference League last season. And he's had a really good start to his Burnley career. Floating around the striker Lyle Foster. That's a little bit of a late challenge that from Montiel, who went steaming in the right full-back position. It was a little bit late.
Yeah, he's had a bad 5 minutes. He's just given the ball away a couple of times, and he's just trying to make up for a poor touch there. He's got to be careful now.
It's a yellow card for him. And up against Koleosho,
yeah,
that's going to be a little bit difficult, isn't it? That was late on Brownhill. Free kick generated for Burnley. This is 6 yards in from the left touch line, and it's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the edge of the centre circle. So it's about 30-40 yards from goal, and it'll be whipped in right-footed by Josh Brownhill towards the back edge of the penalty area, hoping that one of those big defenders can get on the end of it. Gudmundsson is standing over it too, but it's going to be the Icelander who hits it left-footed towards the edge of the box, but it's cleared away by Forest, and then the second ball by Cullen is just juggled with by Koleosho down that right side, who looks to try and take on McKenna. It hits him in the face off the back of the Scotsman, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It felt like a bit of a waste of a free kick, that.
It was, poor delivery. He's nice and positive, isn't he, Koleosho? Quick and direct, he likes to go both ways. Looks a talent.
He's only 19 years of age. He was only 19 last Friday, so he's still a very young man. It's a very young team, actually. It's the youngest average starting 11 in the Premier League this season, Burnley's. Koleosho trying to get the better of Sangare, and he's given a foul away here, the former PSV man. And it's another free kick a little bit further forward in a similar sort of area.
Yeah, he just got a little bit intricate there in his own. Sometimes you play in midfield, you want to get on the ball and have your touches, but when you close down and you're tight and you're deep, you've just sometimes got to play some percentages over. 1 and 2 touch, turn them round, get yourself up the pitch, give yourself a bit of breathing time.
Free kick on this near side, which is going to be taken by Gudmundsson. He's just left it after approaching it initially. Brownhill standing over it with his left arm in the air. Rob Jones blows the whistle. It's left for Brownhill this time, right footed. It's a deep one, and Turner's going to come and claim that, and claim it well.
Poor again.
There's 2 set pieces they've wasted a little bit. Thrown out by Turner up to Olarena. They've got men committed forward here. One of them is Hudson-Odoi down the left-hand side. The starting position from Trafford was a little bit too early, and he went running towards the ball, and that meant that Charlie Taylor had to take action. He nudged it behind. It's out for a corner.
That there is exactly what I'm talking about. Turn them round, might not get there, but you get them turned to run back towards their own goal, get yourself up the pitch. It's called a percentage ball. You've got a corner. You've got to mix your game up. It doesn't always have to be feet and intricate and possession based. It can be getting you up the pitch to get you some territory. Vary your game.
Corner kick over on the far side. Burnley have conceded the most goals so far in the Premier League. 0-0 Here's the right-footed delivery towards the back edge of the area. It passes past Awonyi and Sangari in the box after it was allowed to drop. It wasn't great defending that from Burnley. They seem to have 3 red shirts isolated around Trafford and no one taking charge from a Burnley perspective, and that went flashing through the 6-yard box and out and away, luckily for them, for a goal kick.
Well, they've got 2 men around James Trafford, and he's got to come for that. He's got stuck to the line. He's got to come and claim that. He can't. I mean, that Awonyi's missed that 3 yards away from the line. In swinger from the left.
That's a good chance, that, for Nottingham Forest. Didn't make the most of it. McKenna has just fouled Foster just in front of the centre circle. And Nottingham Forest getting back into their defensive shape as Burnley get us restarted once again. We played 37 minutes. I think it's been an entertaining game. And they're giving it away, Burnley, here. And Montiel is coming upfield with the ball, but he's run into traffic, and Koleosho did very well to win it back, and Foster backed him up too. And here they come now, Burnley, with Amdouni moving towards the edge of the area, sends it wide, but he was forced into making that decision by the presence of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who got back, tracked, helped out, and helped his team get the ball back for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, he put enough pressure on Amdouni, I think it was, didn't he, just to stab his pass out of play.
That's been a vibrant first 38 minutes here.
I think Burnley will be reasonably pleased. I mean, they've had that problem on the left-hand side with Hudson-Odoi and Roberts coming too narrow from right back into that inverted midfield position, but they've gained some confidence. They've had a couple of goals there. They've arguably had the best chance of the evening. Good save, wasn't it, from Turner? So,
yeah. And it's been a game that sort of where the pendulum of control has swung between the two over the course of that 40 minutes that we've had so far. Vincent Kompany did have a problem to solve with Connor Roberts coming into that more central area, but they haven't had as many exposures down that left-hand side in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Nottingham Forest, who haven't dropped a point here for 155 days. They want to continue that over the course of the next few weeks. They've got some big fixtures to come here. Brentford here and Luton here and Villa here in the not too distant future as the ball goes back to Trafford again. Just a little bit of a tease, almost went through to Awonyi. Burnley happy to be patient and play slowly but surely out from the back. Straight after us tonight we've got the Sports Bar, your chance to have your say with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. And Andy Townsend, great on breakfast this morning, back tomorrow morning. He was talking about Ten Hag's problems. He goes into detail on that and Chelsea on the Premier League All Access podcast, by the way, which is available on YouTube and on the TalkSport app. So Simon Jordan not being entirely sure about Mikel Arteta's decision to replace Aaron Ramsdale this morning. And there'll be more explosive chat with him and Jim White tomorrow, 10 till 1 tomorrow morning. I did hear this week that Keith Lemon has joined Virgin Radio, and if you download our app, you'll be able to flick through all of the stations on our roster.
I have to say, I thought David Raya's performance against Everton was superb.
Clean sheet, he'll be happy with that.
Dominating, comfort crosses, looked good with his feet. Hell of a dilemma he's got now.
This is TalkSport, 5 minutes to go before half-time. The ball on halfway with Burnley, and it's chucked forward by Josh Brownhill. Chasing that is Koleosho, and he's got the better of Worrell. He's pulled it back into the centre of the penalty area, missed by Foster. Comes back to the edge of the box, and it's there from Amdouni. A brilliant finish on the edge of the box with his left foot as it came out off Lyle Foster, who didn't quite connect with it, but the ball spilled to the edge of the penalty area. And arriving late was Amdouni, and Zeki Amdouni, who scored the winner against Forest in the Cup, has put Burnley in front of the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1.
Told you it wouldn't be 0-0. What a finish. Koleosho, by the way, is causing Montiel all sorts of problems down the left-hand side. He looks onside to me. We're just having a look at the replay. And he gets in down the left-hand side. Flies past the centre-half, who's come out of his position. Puts a cross in, and when it's pulled back and falls to Amdouni on the edge of the box. I mean, talk about calm, quality technique with his left foot into the far corner. He just waits, he sets himself, doesn't slash at it, doesn't try and hit it too hard. It's a beautiful finish from Burnley's best player so far.
It's a brilliant finish, and more impressive bearing in mind the flicks that it takes as it's pulled back from the byline by Koleosho. It takes a flick off the defender and then a swipe by Lyle Foster diverts the ball slightly, which means it's bouncing into the air, and he watches it, and his technique is beautiful as he just strikes it into the bottom corner back from whence it came, and that's 1-0 to Burnley. It's a brilliant finish.
Well, he's a real talent, that lad. He glides with the ball, he takes it under pressure, he's a goal threat. Looks a steal.
Well,
16, what was it, 16
million quid, yeah. Burnley now have taken the lead, and Nottingham Forest have got to try and come from behind to preserve this very good home record that they have had up until this point. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi moving down the right hand side, darting towards the edge of the area. He's got 4 to aim at, but he chooses to play the ball straight down the throat of Al Dakil instead, and it's cleared out to the far side of Mangala, who wins it back for Nottingham Forest. 43 on the clock. Forest in possession inside Burnley territory, just in front of the centre circle. One again by Goodmanson, and Sangari just hesitated there, and Connor Roberts made a pass to find Foster, who's charged upfield down the left side towards the edge of the Forest box. He's played it wide. Koleosho, Sangari getting back, winning the ball, and then Elanga trying to release Stiwonyi over the top, just didn't quite have the strength of pass to float it over the top of Jordan Beyer.
That was unlucky, worth a go. Getting pinned back a little bit for it. Burnley are doing really well.
Roberts striding into midfield and playing it wide to Koleosho. He's up against Montiel. He's got him on toast. He's done him again. He's got inside this time. Moved towards the edge of the box. They've just about crowded him out. But Montiel doesn't know how to handle him now. And because he's on a yellow card, he can't afford to make a bad tackle.
I think he'll be changed at half-time. I really do.
Mangala up to Morgan Gibbs-White. Down the right he goes. He's asking Elanga to sprint into the right wing position to get on the end of that. He does. He's got a little bit of backup from Montiel. He's moved into the penalty area. Gibbs-White's in there as well. And 1 year at the far post. Not a great delivery by Elanga. In fact, it was pretty poor. It's bounced fortuitously for Gibbs-White. Down the right side. His cross is a little bit better. It's flicked into the air. Comes to Hudson-Odoi, who takes it down well. Sets up a Wanyi. He guides it back to Mangala. Too many touches. And then Aina clips the ball high into the air. It goes over the top of the crossbar, and it's still Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1. And for the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes, where you can now get Nottingham Forest to win 4-1, Burnley 4-3 on to win, the draw 9-4. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Good chance.
Yeah, it was decent.
Immediately bowls out towards the
left.
left.
In the last 20 minutes of the half to really create anything significant, Forest.
It's all coming down the Burnley left at this moment in time, and that young fella Luca Koleosho they picked up from Espanyol. Here is Gibbs-White trying to feed Awonyi, just tried to stab that ball forward, but Cullen was there to stop it from sneaking through to the Nigerian, who also actually scored on international duty during the break recently. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. Won by Aina well, picked up in the centre circle by Gibbs-White. On to Elanga, who's come centrally now. He's running at the Burnley defence. He's charging forward, a right-footed shot. Too close to James Trafford, who drops to his left and smothers the ball and makes a save.
It's unlucky from Elanga. He's drifted in off that right into a central area, picks it up, and he goes out that back four. They keep dropping off, and he tries to play like a bender into the far corner. Doesn't quite get it, but it was more positive from Elanga. That's better. Don't get yourself involved. If you're stuck out wide and you're not on the ball, drift into those central areas and try and find it. Go and hunt it down and make an impact.
Trafford forward over the halfway line with a long kick up towards Lyle Foster, headed down and away by Joe Worrell. Elanga gets it back to Montiel, who sends it out towards the far side, and then Callum Hudson-Odoi getting it back to Gibbs-White, who's fouled by Josh Brownhill, just short of the halfway line. In fact, there was an offside, I think, further up the pitch, and as a result it's going to be a free kick taken a bit further back. And Foster's thrown the ball away.
No, he threw it to where the offside was.
Yeah, but
it's a big difference.
You're not supposed to touch the ball when it's gone dead. That was the instruction. Don't touch the ball.
Rules are there to be broken, Sam. You know that. I bet you actually didn't break one in all your school days, did you?
I was a good boy.
I know, I'm sure you were. Broke a few hearts though, didn't you? Oh,
Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1. Ball goes back to Jordan Bayer, all the way back to his goalkeeper, who is James Trafford. And Burnley, who lead this game by a goal to nil, having put themselves on the scoreboard thanks to a brilliant finish from Zeki Amdouni, who've given Nottingham Forest work to do at the break. It was a game which swung in terms of momentum after a patient start from Burnley. It looked like Nottingham Forest were the brighter team. They had several opportunities without creating too many clear-cut chances in the game before Burnley took a bit more control and scored after 41 minutes thanks to a brilliant finish after a wonderful run down the left from Koleosho. The ball deflected into the path of Amdouni, and as a result of that good finish, Nottingham Forest behind at the break by a goal to nil.
Well, I've just seen Luca Koleosho go down the tunnel, first to go down. He actually looked really tired. He'll regroup, I'm sure, at half-time in the dressing room. Right behind him was Gonzalo Montiel, his eyes boring and burning into the back of the youngster because he has tormented him in that first half. Danny Murphy, let's quickly talk about Koleosho because I've been as impressed as you have. He's turned 19 on Friday, cost £2 million, which is extraordinary. 2.6 million, 860,000 add-ons. Could be the bargain of the century given what we've seen in this 45. At the moment he represents Italy under 20s. He could play for USA, Canada, Nigeria and Italy. So he's got a decision to make at some point, but he has completely tormented Montiel, and I'm with you. He's got to go off at half-time, Montiel, before he's sent off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's grown into the game, as Burnley have, but what he's got is wonderful pace, a willingness to run without the ball into space, which you always need, because not every winger does that. They always want the ball to feet. And when you've got those two attributes, you're a problem. And then we saw when he starts running with the ball, he's happy to go on his left, because obviously that's his strong, and he's happy to go inside as well, which creates a real problem for the fullback. And he looks completely free. He's playing enjoying himself. He looks like he's really enjoying himself. And of course, Amdouni, who's got this beautiful balance and way of moving with the ball, who is grown into the half, is causing Forest all sorts of problems when they get the ball to those two because of their ability. It's a brilliant finish from, I think, probably the best player on the pitch first half, and that's saying something with the way Koleosho's done. Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, they had to weather a storm, no doubt about that, but Forest haven't been clinical in front of goal. And just a word on Montiel. This is the guy who scored the winning penalty in the World Cup final and in the Europa League final as well. He'll always have those on his CV. Tonight it's a nightmare for him. There was a moment in that first half where he's left in a heap by Koleosho. He gets up, the ball pings to him off a ricochet. He gives it straight away to Cullen, who fizzes a ball across. He's left there, standing there, looking at what's going on, thinking, I can't influence this game. Seconds later, he's booked for a bad foul after a poor touch. He's had the nightmare, 1 out of 10 first half, and I'm being kind.
Yeah, it's been poor. He's not helping himself at times because he's so keen to do well. He's trying to overlap on the times when Ilanga's got it on this right-hand side, which is using up energy and leaving him a long way back against one of the quickest wingers we've seen this season, the young lad. And of course, your first home game, you desperately want to impress, and you're trying to get too tight to your winger. And when you get too tight of someone who's quick, you leave him the space in behind. What he's better doing is driving himself 10-15 yards, maybe asking Ilanga to drop in and give him 5 minutes to help him double up a little bit, or what he's done on a couple of occasions is get one of the central midfielders over and show him inside into the numbers. Don't get tight to somebody who's quicker than you.
We'll talk about Amdouni a little bit later on because that was a terrific finish, but I was going to say that Joe Worrell, the captain for Nottingham Forest, centre-half, had a decent game. Koleosho then completely rinsed him on that left-hand side after he'd left Montiel for dead. What a performance from the Burnley youngster on the left wing so far tonight, and they lead 1-0. TalkSport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend from 6 a.m. Their guests include the former Newcastle manager John Carver, now on the Scotland coaching staff, ahead of the Geordies' return to the Champions League. And AC Milan against Newcastle is live on TalkSport tomorrow. 5:45 kick-off, build up from 4 on TalkSport with me and Darren Bent at the Etihad. And actually there's been really heavy rain in Milan. The Newcastle fans have been sliding on their big bellies in the streets in the middle of Milan. It's been unbelievable to see some of the footage on social media, but they're making the most of it. But really heavy rain and bad weather delayed the flight for Newcastle getting out there as well. They were sat on the tarmac for some time, Eddie Howe and his squad, but they are out there, and we'll have that game for you live on TalkSport tomorrow. 5:45 kickoff. Join me and Darren Bent at the Etihad Stadium from 4 tomorrow on TalkSport.
Monday game night on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
With the transfer window closed, it's now properly game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less stalling and more sawing. Less drive time and more site time. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's. And guess what? It's still twice as nice. Because with double peel, you can peel on pack, then peel again on the McDonald's app to win prizes like brand new mini electrics, lovely McDonald's food, HP Omen gaming laptops, TUI holiday vouchers, £1,000 in cash, plus tons of other incredible prizes. 18 plus, UK only. Selected items, subject to serving times and availability. End 17th of October. Gameplay and price claims may require McDonald's app. See mcdrules.co.uk.
Friend, for all of yourselves, we have all of your faves on Just Eat. From your wading through work self to your late night munchy self. Help those selves to a smooth Costa coffee latte. A perfect Domino's pepperoni passion. A freshly made Five Guys All-American cheeseburger. A classic Pizza Express American hot. And a delish McDonald's Big Mac. So take yourself from a 6 to a 9.9. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Subject to availability and store opening time. Service charges and other charges apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's new 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate. Because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Exclusive commentary of massive Monday night games.
And it's got in! Would you believe it?
The biggest and best football on the radio. Game nights
on TalkSport.
Chucked forward by Josh Brownhill. Chasing that is Koleosho, and he's got the better of Worrell. He's pulled it back into the centre of the penalty area, missed by Foster. Comes back to the edge of the box, and it's there from Amdouni. A brilliant finish on the edge of the box with his left foot as it came out off Lyle Foster, who didn't quite connect with it, but the ball spilled to the edge of the penalty area. And arriving late was Amdouni, and Zeki Amdouni, who scored the winner against Forest in the Cup, has put Burnley in front of the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1.
Well, Danny Murphy did say he fancied Burnley to get something tonight. They lead 1-0. Are they going to get their first points of the season? Forest with work to do. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
And Forest are 4-1 to win. The draw is 21-10. Burnley to win. They lead 1-0. 5-4 on Burnley to win and both teams to score. That's 4-1. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, Newcastle's Champions League adventure hasn't got off to the best of starts. Eddie Howe says they were delayed in Newcastle before they were allowed to fly to Milan this evening. The 2.5-hour delay down to weather conditions. Howe admitted in his pre-match press conference at the San Siro just now that he's never attended a Champions League match before.
Yeah, no, I've never attended one. I've always been too busy working to take one in. But it's not something I've given any thought to. It's a game of football, and yeah, I think it'd be a proud moment for me. I think it'd be a proud moment for everyone connected with Newcastle to be back into the Champions League after a long period away. But it is a game of football, and I think that's just how we have to approach it. Yes, it's a special game, and we have to be at our best, and there's slight differences in terms of where we've travelled, but the game will be the same, but it will be a very difficult one.
Interesting from Eddie Howe. Also in that press conference, Danny Murphy. Eddie Howe said that they didn't train on the pitch at the San Siro, haven't even walked around the pitch at the San Siro, and Eddie Howe's quote was, "That's overrated, it's a pitch."
He's never played Champions League or international football then, has he?
Never been to a Champions League game.
No, but I'm telling you now, going to the stadium and training on it in European games, which you're allowed to do, by the way, obviously the weather not allowing them, I actually make him wrong. I've got a lot of respect for Eddie. I think he's done a great job, but it helps going to the pitch and training on it before you play on it.
Right.
1,000,000%. Unless you are a very established European international footballer who's done it a lot. My first couple of years of playing away in Europe, being able to go there the day before, night before, have a look round, train on the pitch, used to settle me and make me more comfortable the next day, and I could tell you that was for 90% of the lads.
So why do you think he's done that then? Is he just... Would he rather his players focus on the game plan rather than where they're playing it?
Maybe I thought it was to do with the weather that they couldn't train on it. No, he just decided not to.
No, he's basically said it's a pitch, it doesn't really matter.
I think maybe. Well, I don't mind him saying it for the reasons as in I don't want to give the players, I don't know, I'm trying to think what the benefit would be for that. Maybe it's just what he believes. I think it does matter going and having a look and feeling around the place. I really do. I'm not saying that you necessarily play badly if you don't, of course. And sometimes you can't. I've been to European matches before where we weren't allowed for some reason. There could have been a problem with the pitch, some weather issues, and you don't, and you just turn up the next day, and you deal with it. But ideally, it's better to go.
Well, Newcastle haven't looked at the pitch, haven't walked on it, haven't even trained on it. And who knows how that will affect them. We'll find out tomorrow. It's live on TalkSport. Join me and Darren Bent at the Etihad for the build-up to that commentary. That's from 4 o'clock. The game kicks off at 5:45. All that's on TalkSport. When that game's done, I'll take you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in from all the games. Champions League, Championship, League One and National League. You'll get the best service on TalkSport. There's commentary of Feyenoord Celtic on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night. That kicks off at 8 p.m. Back here at the City Grounds. We'll wait and see if Forest do make changes, particularly at right back, for the second half. 1-0 down. Let's talk about Amdouni. £16 million, regularly getting into double figures, whatever league he plays in. And his record for Switzerland this season, I think it's 5 goals in 6 games, is exceptional as well. We saw it, and Sam mentioned in the commentary that he was joint top scorer in the Europa Conference League last season. And you can read into that whatever you want, because there were some pretty awful teams in that Europa Conference League. But they went all the way to the semi-finals. He got... nobody got more goals than him in that competition. I'm surprised that he's gone for 16 million. I'm surprised nobody else has picked him up, because he looks like he's got the lot.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I saw him. He was the one who showed snippets in the first half against Man City, and I thought he's got a bit about him. Tonight, I'm looking at him. He's graceful the wave. He's got good awareness, strong. He's a goal threat. He can drop in and play midfield. He goes wide and drifts past people. I'm absolutely gobsmacked that no one's picked him up for that. A bigger club, I mean.
Interestingly, he only actually signed for Basel permanently in May. He was on loan from Lausanne up until that point. So they signed him for £3.5 million in May and sold him 2 months later for 16 million quid. So although it's not a massive transfer fee, that's a big profit in a couple of months.
And actually it's a big fee for Burnley, given their history.
Absolutely.
And it looks like it may well be repaid. Both teams are back out. I think Gonzalo Montiel is back out as well. So we're set for another electrifying second half. I thought that first half was sensational. Burnley have the lead. They are winning 1-0 here at Nottingham Forest. They're on course for their first win of the season. Let's find out if they see it through. Second half on game night on TalkSport with the former England midfielder Danny Murphy alongside Sam Matterface.
Mulligan-Tyre rings around this stadium once again at the start of the second half. The second half that Nottingham Forest will hope to change the course of history in, because they haven't won a Premier League game when they're losing at half-time since January 1997. It has been 2 years since Steve Cooper took over as boss. Today is the anniversary of them being bottom of the championship table. Anyone you'll speak to around here has reminded us of that today. It's a significant anniversary, and after his appointment they immediately went on a 5-game unbeaten run, and the rest is history. He got them promoted in that season remarkably, and they found their way not only into the Premier League but to stay in the Premier League. And a little bit of a dicey ball back from Connor Roberts towards his goalkeeper, almost intercepted by Awonyi, is eventually cleared by James Trafford upfield. Here is Gudmundsson running into the midpoint of the Nottingham Forest half. He works it wide. It's collected by the very dangerous Koleosho. His centre is headed away by Worrell, and then it goes out on the far side for a Nottingham Forest throw. The two teams, we'll just run through them quickly. Matt Turner is the goalkeeper. Montiel has been booked at right back. Worrell, McKenna and Aina, who's the left back, make up the back four. In midfield, the two holders are Mangala, who's been booked, and Sangare. Ilanga and Hudson-Odoi are the wingers, with Morgan Gibbs-White playing in the number 10 position behind Awonyi. For Burnley, they've got James Trafford, who's been booked in goal, Roberts at right back but moving into midfield, Al-Dakhil, Bayer and Taylor making up the quartet at the back, with Gudmundsson, Cullen, Brownhill and Koleosho behind Amdouni, who's supporting Foster in attack. Danny Murphy alongside me in the commentary box, and it is a big task coming from behind in the Premier League to win. Nottingham Forest have got to find a way to do it.
It is, and they're going to have to take a few risks trying to press higher. You've got to try and dictate the tempo now, and that means you need the ball. You've got to go and win it back. It's hard to do. Hard work. And Burnley, although they're an inexperienced group, they've still got the freedom under Kompany to play. And it's hard against teams who play out from the back to win the ball back when they're playing with this confidence that they've got now since the goal.
Some teams don't like playing on Monday nights, but Nottingham Forest usually thrive on it. Their only defeat in 17 Premier League home fixtures played on a Monday came against Everton in October 1996, and they're pressing high here to try and turn the tide. And James Trafford almost got caught by Awonyi. He's had a couple of warnings now from the Nigerian, and they clear it through midfield and out towards the right, where just wandering narrowly is Connor Roberts. It's on to Gudmundsson and then back into the centre with Lyle Foster, who drops deep, nudges it back to Al-Dakhil. Out wide it goes to Amdouni, who plays it to Al-Dakhil's clearance wasn't great, away by Sangare, but it's won by a yellow shirt rather than a red one, which is quite frustrating for the locals here. And then it's back to Trafford once again, who's operating about 10 yards outside his penalty area. He is very good with his feet. And Burnley have had a tendency to concede too many goals, and he's pulled off one save tonight. You get the feeling by the end of the night he might have to pull off one or two more if Burnley are to be successful.
They're working really hard, Burnley, are trying to find the spare man. We saw Brighton do it at Manchester United. Their overloads, keep trying to find the spare man. It's risky, but it's how they're going to play.
Brownhill, after the ball upfield was cut out by McKenna, bounces into midfield. Brownhill just left of centre, plays it wide to Koleosho, who was so electric in that first 45 minutes, and poor old Gonzalo Montiel didn't know what planet he was on by the end of the first half. Here is Foster back into Koleosho, wrestling with Montiel, gets the better of him this time, nudges it back to McKenna, who clears upfield towards Awonyi, who's holding off Al-Dakhil, does brilliantly but can't get hold of the ball to work it out to the far side. There's a collision between Awonyi and Cullen, and a free kick is given to Burnley just short of the centre circle inside Burnley territory. So we played Just 3.5 minutes of the second half. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1 on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Nottingham Forest versus Burnley live right now for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports.
So what Burnley have got, when the goalkeeper's got it, they make the pitch really big and long and wide, and gives them the space to play.
Foul by Aina on Gudmundsson. Yields a free kick on this near touchline. Vincent Kompany applauding the decision of the linesman Ian Hussin on this near touchline. It's a free kick which Amdouni gets back to Roberts. Saw that finish a couple of times at half-time. It was a brilliant finish from a player who's got a very good record. Here comes Koleosho down that left-hand side again. He's in behind Montiel, not for the first time. Cuts back in on his right foot, being trapped by Worrell now. Sets it up for Amdouni once again, who's blocked by Mangala, and it's out for a corner on this near side. But that's the Silk Road, isn't it? Koleosho into Amdouni, arriving late on the box and causing people problems.
Well, he's not having to do anything to get the space. He's spinning him. He's coming to feet and spinning him behind where he's got too tight to him, and he just let him go. Montiel's got to drop off him. You can't just go. You can't just. It's great movement, don't get me wrong, but it's basic defending.
Corner kick on the near side, and Gudmundsson is going to take it. He's got Bayer to aim at in the centre. Nottingham Forest have been vulnerable from set pieces. Only Bournemouth conceded more last season. The ball into the box is headed away by Ola Aina. Comes back to Charlie Taylor, who cracks it goalwards. He's not too far away from the right hand upright.
Worth a go. Gets headed out from the in-swinging corner from the right-hand side. Decent volley just past the post. Worth an effort.
Would have been a good birthday present for Charlie Taylor, who turns 30 today. Here is Ola Aina down the left-hand side, outpacing Gudmundsson, and then releasing the ball infield to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Al-Dakhil put pressure on him, but they won the ball and kept hold of it, and Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White combined. Nice. They spread it to the far side. Alanga now onto the overlapping fullback Montiel into the penalty area. He rushed his effort. Didn't need to necessarily do that. Sometimes when the fullback goes beyond you don't have to pass him the ball, Danny.
No, it was, well, even when he did, I think he rushed across as well, and the fact was that there wasn't many options in there. You're right. Bit more patience.
It was just a little bit too rushed, that particular move from Nottingham Forest, who did very well to circulate the ball from one side to the other.
Yeah, it was good play from Hudson-Odoi.
They're going to make a change, I think, in the next few minutes. Nuno Tavares is going to come on at full-back. I wouldn't be too surprised if he came to the left and Aina went out to the right.
Yeah, I agree.
52 minutes on the clock. You're listening to TalkSport live at the City Ground with Danny Murphy and Sam Matterface. Sports bar to come straight after the conclusion of this game. 0371722 334 is the number to call. Jason and Jamie tonight. Here is Sangare, just over halfway, playing it back to Scott McKenna, who's making his 5th Premier League start in a row after missing the end of last season with a fractured collarbone. Not a tasty injury. Montiel, right side, back to Alanga, who's level with the edge of the Burnley box, trying to take on Koleosho. There's a little bit too heavy with his touch. It goes out and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. And here's the change. Montiel is coming off, and on comes Nuno Tavares. Aina immediately starts walking to the far side, so he knows the drill. And the on-loan Arsenal man, who spent a bit of time at Marseille last year and did very well, is coming on. It was fascinating, really. I was here the day that he was hauled off after 35 minutes by Mikel Arteta when he was in a Arsenal shirt because he was having a torrid time. One of his worst days in an Arsenal shirt.
I remember.
And he's back here now plying his trade at the City Ground.
He's got talent, though.
Yeah.
Strong, quick, good feet. Likes to get forward.
I spoke to him about 3 months after that, and he said he learnt so much from the experience, and he thanked Mikel Arteta for teaching him the lessons that he needed.
I'm sure he did. You never thank him. I would never thank a manager for dragging me off after 30 minutes. I've done the half-time one a couple of times. How about that? Yeah.
Have you ever been light bulbed?
What's that?
Bought one and then taken off again?
No.
That's always the one for me.
Well, yeah, unless you come on after like 5 minutes and go off on 95.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different, yeah.
It's the 58 and 75. You never want that. Here is Gibbs-White through the centre circle, out towards the left. It's now Callum Hudson-Odoi who's got hold of possession. He moves up towards the edge of the penalty area, threatens to go down the left-hand side, just bobbles the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. So Wanyi can't get there, but he put enough pressure on Al-Dakhil that he had to commit to making a challenge. It goes behind and away for a corner, and it was a decent fashioned attack by Nottingham Forest, a little bit slicker, and Hudson-Odoi once again was at the heart of it.
He was. I'd be tempted to tell Morgan Gibbs-White to drift a bit more, not stay so central. Come out wide, go out wide right, mix, double up on some wide areas, just try and get involved a bit more in the game. I
wonder if there was a blocking off there by Sangare on Gerald Bayer as he tried to bring the ball out, which led to the counter-attack from Nottingham Forest. 55 on the clock. Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1, live on TalkSport. Burnley looking for their first points of the season. The ball sent long in towards the penalty area, headed away to the edge of the box. Mangala will get a chance to shoot, and he does over the top of the crossbar. He never looked quite set as that broke on the edge of the box. All of the yellow shirts gravitated towards their own goal. There was a lot of space and time for Mangala on the edge of the box, but he never quite looked confident enough, and it was about 5 yards over the top.
I'm really surprised again. I mean, they dealt with it well, the header Burnley, but it was right in the middle of the goal, and the keeper stuck on his line. It's something they're going to have to improve, because when they come up against the teams who are really good on set plays, they're going to get real problem if the keeper's going to stay that static on his line.
Well, we didn't think he was that big, really, did we, when we were looking at him in the first half? And then we did a bit of research, and he's listed as 6'6". I mean, now I'm looking at him, I can sort of see that height, but he doesn't have that presence. He didn't have that presence in those sort of situations when the ball was coming into the box.
It's amazing with goalkeepers, it's a mindset for crosses. I don't always think it's the biggest keepers who are necessarily the best who are coming out. It's the ones who are really confident in themselves and their spring and their strength and ability to claim the ball. Well, you know, amidst bodies, some keepers like it, some don't.
Well, he certainly is a confident lad, there's no doubt about it. Listening to him in the summer, he was pretty clear that he was going to play Premier League football. Great touch forward by Gibbs-White off towards Nuno Tavares, who does well as well. It's switched by Gibbs-White again midway inside the Burnley half, out to the wide right position of Elanga, who moves the ball on towards Aina, who's crossed into the box. He's just about cleared by Cullen, and then it's out to the far side and Koleosho. Good tackle by Sangare to turn it over, gets it into the box, delivers across it over the head of Wanyi, away by Roberts, comes back out to Nuno Tavares. Tavares heavy touch but keeps hold of it, onto Hudson-Odoi, runs into the box from the left angle, moves it to the edge of the area. Mangala with another shot, hits the defender and comes back out. Claims of handball against Cullen. The referee shakes his head, and the pressure is still on from Nottingham Forest.
Much better from Forest, moving the ball more quickly.
Here they come again down the right. Charlie Taylor's got a problem with Elanga now, who's gone one way and then come infield. Delivers across into the box, and Gibbs-White rises and can't get a clean header on it. Goes over the top of the crossbar. Really good delivery from Elanga from that far side, the right, cutting in on his left foot and delivering a peach of a ball. And Gibbs-White just couldn't get over it.
Good run from Gibbs-White. Gets himself in there as a second striker. And this time Elanga does pick him out. It's maybe a fraction above him. Much better from Forest.
Yeah, he was a terrific player, isn't he, Morgan Gibbs-White? England's number 10. They sing, the Forest fans, to him, believing that one day he will be wearing that shirt for England. Well, there's a lot of competition nowadays.
There is indeed,
especially in that area of the field. But there's a lot of young English talent that has been developed through the age group years, and Steve Cooper has been keeping tabs on them, and a lot of them have ended up here at Nottingham Forest. Trafford with the ball at his feet, the goalkeeper for Burnley on the edge of the area. Good ping out to the far side where he's found Taylor. Taylor plays it into Foster, who's had to chase back away from Mangala and then turn and spin. The South African running forward down the left. He's laid it off towards Koleosho, who from the angle of the box delivers a ball into the area. It's away by Worrell, picked up by Cullen, who moves forward for Burnley, keeping them on the front foot. Back to Koleosho once again. Cullen under pressure from Mangala, sends it wide to Koleosho once more. He goes down the left side. Can he get the better of Aina? No. He waited, produced a really good tackle, and then took the ball to the far side, drew a foul, and wins a free kick. That's a little bit better.
So much better. Do you know what that was? Distances. Got his distances all right. From every aspect of defending, that was perfect.
Burnley don't have a great record here. They've won just 2 of the last 20 league visits to the City Ground, dating back to the swinging 60s. leading here by a goal to nil. Was there a foul on Gibbs White? Referee says no. Ball back to Trafford, who's being charged at by Taiwo Awoniyi. Out towards the right side, and Roberts can't keep it in. It's a throw-in for Nottingham Forest, and they want to take it quickly. The bench went and got the ball and tossed it to Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Nuno Tavares eventually will take it and send it back towards his centre-half in Scott McKenna. That advantage disappeared pretty quickly because Burnley scurried back into position. The ball sent wide towards the right, won well by Taylor, anticipated the ball forward, and then Olarena just getting across to ensure that they can't progress any further, and Burnley have possession once again. It's becoming increasingly more difficult for Nottingham Forest.
Well, there's a problem that Forest have, which is when you've got such good attacking players like Gibbs White and the two wingers, one of your central midfielders or one of your centre halves has to be a ball player, and none of them are particularly creative ball players. You need someone who can pass through the lines and quickly play those wonderful little balls through people.
Gibbs White charging down the left. He's beaten two players and a third in Cullen, then sending it on to Callum Hudson-Odoi, whose ball centrally was cut out by Connor Roberts. No chances taken by Cullen, who puts it out for a throw-in midway between the edge of the penalty area and the byline. Into Nuno Tavares from the throw. Hudson-Odoi finds Mangala. Back to Hudson-Odoi, who goes inside on his right foot, produces a cross. It's away by Al-Dakhil, won by Mangala. Good touch by Nuno Tavares. Back out to Hudson-Odoi once more, and Nottingham Forest now turning up the pressure. Can they get a goal to equalise in this game and give us a grandstand finish? 60 minutes on the clock. Elanga just bamboozled himself there more than anything else, but he's got a second chance. Back in field he goes, finds Sangare. His cross is deep. Awoniyi gets to chest it down, send it back to Hudson-Odoi on the angle of the area. He shapes to shoot, right footed. What a goal! What a fantastic curling finish! Welcome to Nottingham Forest, Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's a peach of a goal, arcing the ball from the edge of the penalty area, right-footed, curling away from the goalkeeper, kissing the post on the way in. He knee slides in front of the Trent end. They have a new hero. His name is Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 1.
Super finish. Awoniyi does well. He sets it on corner of the 18-yard box. He goes inside on his right foot, and actually Goodmanson's not that far away from him. As soon as he hit it, I was right behind it, you could see. He set it out outside the post, curling it into the far corner. He'll have known as soon as he hit it. Well, I knew as soon as he hit it, so he must have. Oh no.
They're checking the goal for a possible offside.
No, he's on. He's on. I think he's on.
Well, Awoniyi, it's the first phase, isn't it? Awoniyi chesting the ball down and getting it back to Hudson-Odoi. Well, was there a pull or a push inside
handball,
there? Or
maybe?
a handball? No, it's not handball because it's not deliberate, and it's not the next action is not a goal. So that's surely not. They're checking it. They're still checking it. Well, apparently they're now checking for that possible handball in the build-up to it.
It's not a handball.
Well, he's not the one who puts the ball in the back of the net. It's Callum Hudson-Odoi, and there's two touches after that. So they're still checking it. The VAR check is over, and the goal is given. I think we'd all have been absolutely, desperately upset if that goal had been ruled out.
Desperately. You see Amdouni coming off there. I think it's Amdouni come off. He hasn't had the impact second half. Forest have dealt with him better. I'm surprised they brought him off though.
Amdouni and Goodmanson are off.
Sander Berger on.
Sander Berger, who created the goal actually here in that Carabao Cup game for Amdouni, comes on. A little bit more, adding a little bit of thickness in midfield, I think.
Yeah, Zaroury's on as well, I think.
Zaroury, who is back from his suspension after being sent off against Manchester City earlier in the season, is on maybe to add a little bit of extra width, maybe a little bit of 4-3-3 formation for Burnley with two wide men now. Zaroury. Berger trying to shut down McKenna, doesn't quite come off. It's sent long by McKenna upfield. 1-1 the score, live on Talk Sport. And Morgan Gibbs-White chasing, Awoniyi chasing, and the ball back to James Trafford, and the mood has lifted and changed inside the City ground. The roof nearly came off the Trent end when that ball went in off the post. Hudson-Odoi tries to play it forward, down the left-hand side, gets it back again, and now he's running at the defence. He moves towards the edge of the penalty area, comes infield, takes on Roberts. He's got full of confidence now, into Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White inside the box, trying to get a shot away, comes to Awoniyi, looks to try and turn. Was he pulled to the floor? The referee says no. There's claims of handball from Gibbs-White, as it was blocked by Josh Cullen, and it certainly looked as if it did. Well, an outstretched hand.
Yeah, but the problem is he's only like, half a yard away. We'll have to wait and see on the replay.
His arms are away from his body, aren't they? He's trying to pull it back behind his back, though, isn't he? What are you giving there, then?
I think that would be unlucky. I don't think they're going to give that.
Play on, says the referee. I think maybe last year that would have been given as a handball. This year,
which it shouldn't be.
No, this year we're being a little bit more sensible about it, aren't we? 1-1 the score, 25 minutes to go. The noise deafening inside this stadium as Nottingham Forest get back on terms, and now it's a 25-minute game. Who's going to steal the 3 points here live on Talk Sport tonight? Nottingham Forest's home record is not impeccable, but good. Especially towards the end of last season, it was pretty handy. And they built their rise up the table and away from danger, and thriving in these moments. Here on the right-hand side, the ball picked up in that wing position by Zaroury. Zaroury, who was a late call-up to that Moroccan side that went so deep into the World Cup, plays it back infield. Alderkiel sends it to his goalkeeper, and James Trafford, who's almost playing on the halfway line away to our left-hand side, gets Burnley ticking once again.
It's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? There's been moments in the game when you think Forest have got them now, and then Burnley clawed away back in, and it ended the first half. Burnley were nice and strong and confident, and Forest looked devoid of ideas. It's really good.
Well, the changes have affected the game, and Elanga coming forward, skips past the challenger Jordan Beyer, gives it to Gibbs-White, heavy touch by him. Zaroury gets back, and now there's a chance for Burnley to break. They want a free kick after a advantage was played initially, and that the referee is not going to be forthcoming with that, and Burnley are going to be allowed to play out from the back again. 1-1 the score, live on Talk Sport tonight at the City ground. As Danny has said, the pendulum of momentum has swung between the two over the course of the evening, and the last 10 minutes they've had 4 shots on goal, Nottingham Forest, and Burnley have had none. It's certainly swung in their direction recently, and it will show the character of Burnley now, won't it, if they can hold on here and not wilt in this white-hot atmosphere.
It's been interesting watching Callum Hudson-Odoi, because he's obviously got quality. It's looked to me tonight like he's taken responsibility at times. He wants to make things happen. He doesn't mind making a mistake. He'll still get it again and keep trying to beat people and probe and push.
That comes from the manager, I think, who told him, don't be boring. Here is Zaroury down the left-hand side, tries to get to the edge of the penalty area.
You hear that a lot, don't you?
Usually from a missus.
I know.
Ball into the box towards Aina, flicked away. Over on the far side and out for a throw-in down by the corner flag. Football again. Yeah, that's me. Sorry. Off I go. Well, we've got some big football matches this week, haven't we? Tomorrow, Milan against Newcastle, live with Alan Pardew and I. Tomorrow at 5:45. Straight after that, around the grounds with Adrian from the Etihad Stadium. We've got Manchester United away from home in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. What a game on Wednesday night that is. And then Thursday night, Lask against Liverpool in the Europa League on Talk Sport 2. Friday night, the Lionesses. Saturday night, Burnley against Manchester United. And the Sunday session this weekend, Danny, we've got 5 Premier League games to keep you up to date with over the course of the 5-hour programme. We're on air at 1:30.
From where?
Stamford Bridge, I think I'm going to go to. Crookie and Perry are going to go off to the North London Derby. Yep. Here's Berger. On to Zaroury, who's tripped by Tavares. Referee's played on because the ball was worked towards Brownhill. It's gone wide out to Kola Osho, who's got to the edge of the penalty area, bent it back towards Zaruri. His heavy touch has allowed Callum Hudson-Odoi to pick it up, and he's running forward now and looking to release Awoniyi, but he's not going to get there because Trafford actually, his starting position there was really good, very, very good, and he intercepted it before it became a problem.
Oh, he's comfortable, really comfortable with the ball at his feet, and in every part of his game. It's just the crosses, really. He's been stuck on that line on a few of them. That's the only little weakness I've noticed.
20 minutes to go, 1-1.
He's in.
Here is Foster down the left-hand side for Burnley in the left wing position. Plays it to the edge of the box. It's not close enough to Berger, cleared away by Mangala and up towards the halfway line. Bayer to Cullen, and then he's volleyed it back into his own half, and Al-Dakil has eventually got it to Trafford.
Awoniyi's work ethic has been absolutely phenomenal. He's pressed well, he's run the channels, he's fought. It's proper old school type centre forward, but how valuable he's going to be to this team this season.
Yeah, I wonder if he's run his race though now.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me, Sam, because he's been absolutely outstanding.
Oh, that's a mistake by Josh Brownhill. The ball played into him under no real pressure by Trafford. He tried to pop the ball back to one of his defenders, but he played it between two of them. It's gone straight out for a corner over on the far side. There's going to be a couple of changes here. Yates is coming on to replace Mangala in that midfield area, and Divock Origi is coming on too. And he's replacing Callum Hudson-Odoi, so they're going to go two up top.
Well, he can play off the left, Origi.
Could put Morgan Gibbs-White wide.
Yeah, it could do.
We'll see how it pans out in the next few minutes, but either way, it's an aggressive substitution. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he'd be pretty happy with his debut, don't you?
He will, yeah.
And we'll have all the post-match reaction on the Sports Bar straight after the conclusion of this game. Make sure you're with us for that. And Jason and Jamie will take your calls. 03717 22 33 44. Will it be Nottingham Forest fans celebrating? Will it be a point apiece, or will Burnley find a way to win the game? The ball is on the right hand side, the corner in towards the near post, headed away by Charlie Taylor, out as far as Tavares, back in towards that far side. Gibbs-White sends the ball wide, tries to take on Zaruri, then turns it back to Tavares, who's crossed left-footed, goes right to the thick of the action, and it's headed away by Al-Dakil, and it's then back by Aina towards the edge of the box. Not cleared perfectly by Burnley. One by Koleosho, and then stabbed away by Sangari before there becomes a real problem.
Spotted the danger brilliantly there, Sangari. Because Koleosho, if he'd have knocked it and run against, I think it was McKenna at the time, it could have been a world of trouble.
It is Origi who's playing off the left at this moment in time. The Belgian international, whose last goal was in January for AC Milan. He's on a season-long loan from Niall Foster, working the channel once again, trying to drag his team up the park.
He's done well, Sam Foster. He's really battled well, he's strong. He's got good feet.
Currently Forest 1, Burnley 1. For the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Nottingham Forest at 19-10 to win the game. Burnley 9-2. The draw is 17-20. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus begambleaware.org. Connor Roberts launches a long throw from the right side into the 18-yard box that Burnley are attacking in front of the Bridgeford end away to our right hand side. It's headed straight out by Forest, and he'll come back with another torpedo delivered towards Sander Berger. It's flicked on by Foster, comes towards Zaruri, and he hits it on the volley well over the top of the crossbar and into the Burnley fans.
Well, that was a chance. Long throw in, falls to Zaruri, and he can't keep his body over it, over the bar. Catches it quite nicely, actually. Difficult technique, that, trying to side foot. He's better getting over the top of it with his laces.
Anas Zaruri, who has been out for 3 matches after a ban. It's highly thought of amongst the Burnley support. They like him. He's got a little bit of trickiness. Here is Yates for Nottingham Forest. Inside the centre circle. Plays it out towards the wide right. Ola Aina takes it on. He runs down the right touchline. He's got in front of him Nuno Tavares and Elanga, and Elanga sends that cross into the centre, which goes behind and eventually away for another corner to Nottingham Forest with 16 and a half to go. very difficult at this stage of the season to perfectly assess these two sides,
Indeed.
bearing in mind that there are still a lot of moving parts to sort of solidify, iron out the kinks.
Well, I've been impressed with both at different times in the game. Burnley composed, they've done some really good things in the game. Forest have reacted well, they've got some quality high up the pitch now. Much better quality, I should say.
Gibbs-White delivery from the corner, deep towards the far post. Awoniyi's underneath it. It goes over his head. Foster is going to drive it wide, and he's going to take it upfield and send it into the Forest half. But Nuno Tavares was there to cover. He's made an impact since coming on, and that switch has really helped Nottingham Forest out, hasn't it?
Yeah, the fullback, it should have happened half time, really.
Mike Trésor is coming on for Burnley, another one who they've picked up from Belgian football. He's on loan from Genk. He's an out-and-out forward.
Oh, touch.
Here was Gibbs-White into Yates, and now Gibbs-White in a pocket of space behind the midfield. He runs into the opposition half. He's got space on the far side for Origi. He tries to find him, but it was a little bit too heavy. Just wonder whether or not the simple ball was down to Elanga on the right-hand side.
It was phenomenal football. And the last bit, just got it wrong. Bad decision. Gibbs-White's got this wonderful ability, hasn't he, to glide past people, to find space. And usually his final decision is good, but on that occasion, wasted opportunity. There's the change for Burnley.
Yeah, it's Koleosho who's coming off, and on comes Mike Trésor. I wonder if they'll go to a more conventional 2, or whether he'll play as a right winger, Trésor. He signed on deadline day. He's only got 8 goals in 48 starts for Genk. He's not a prolific goal scorer. A foul in midfield on I think it was by Morgan Gibbs-White, which is going to generate a free kick for Burnley. And they send it long down the right side. Sanderberger is chasing. He gets the better of McKenna and into the penalty area. And now he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He steers it into the path of Foster. And Foster scores for the 3rd successive game in Burnley colours. And Burnley retake the lead with 15 minutes to go. And the Burnley fans go wild. And the Clarets are threatening to ruin Forest's impressive home run. Lyle Foster with the goal, his 3rd of the season, 3 in 3 for him, and it's Burnley who lead by 2 goals to 1.
Well, I was just talking about Foster. He's been absolutely superb, and for all his efforts, probably deserves a goal, but it's a poor goal to give away. It's a simple ball over the top. McKenna's got to deal with it. Sanderberg does really well because he out-muscles him. He's too quick for him and sets it up on a plate for Lyle Foster. Does really well, Sanderberger.
Oh, was there a handball in the build-up to that? Again, that might have been deliberate handball on this occasion.
Didn't look deliberate to me.
Huh?
Didn't look deliberate handball to me.
In terms of, that would be judged as deliberate handball by controlling the ball with the use of his arm on the edge of the penalty area as the ball drops over the top of the defence, and they're looking at it to judge whether that is the case. He then gets in on goal as a result of that touch and squares it into the path of Lyle Foster, and the referee still halting play. The VAR is overruling it and suggesting that actually Rob Jones goes over and looks at the monitor. Now, Rob Jones ain't popular with Steve Cooper, because you remember he was the VAR during that game at Old Trafford where Worrell was sent off and Rashford got a penalty. They're checking it now over on the far side. He's walked over to review the monitor, Rob Jones, and this is crucial because he is being asked whether or not it's a handball. He's decided it was a handball. The goal does not stand. It's 1-1 and that's been ruled out.
I'm not sure it is. I don't see it. It's his arm.
Well, I think it hits the top of his arm here on his sort of bicep as he's going through.
Well, if it does, it's faint here.
So he's running away from McKenna. Does he use it to take it away from McKenna? Hits the bicep below the t-shirt line. That's what they've decided after reviewing the monitor. Do you think that's right? 03717 223344. The sports bar open for business. Has that denied Burnley a winner? Ball into the box, a little deflection from Zaroury's cross. Burnley's effort to try
was
and
it
get
clear and obvious mistake? And are those the type of things that, look, you know how I feel about VAR and always have. When we're taking away goals for nothing, for tiny little touches that you can hardly see, and it takes 3.5 minutes to find. Come on.
Is this open-minded, Danny, or grumpy, Danny?
I'm back. No, not grumpy. I'm back to traditionalist.
But you don't think that there was enough for touch there to rule that goal out?
I don't know.
Again,
and we don't want football.
I'm not entirely sure that was the next action before the goal as well.
I just think it's. I see the touch on the bicep with the ball. I don't think it's a deliberate ploy to try and take it away from him. I'm not even sure it interferes with the path of the ball.
Do you take some consideration, though, by the fact that they're not moaning too much about it? The Burnley players didn't go mad, did they?
Well, we haven't got time.
And here's Gibbs-White over on the far side. Nottingham Forest trying to get a winner now. The ball's into the box. It comes through to Divock Origi. He sends it centrally. Gibbs-White is there. A right-footed shot. And he goes down. And out for a corner the ball goes after a little deflection on the way through. 1-1 the score, 10 minutes to go.
It's just another great example of why it spoils football. Over 2 minutes, that VAR decision. That's how clear and obvious it was. Isn't that? Don't you agree though? If it's clear and obvious, then it should be seen it in 30 seconds.
Don't get me started. I'm in enough trouble. I had them all texting me last night, telling me how out of order I was about the goal at Everton. So don't.
Well, I just think if it's clear and obvious, if you go past 60 seconds, it's not clear and obvious, is it? And that was not clear and obvious. So I don't know what they're doing.
Here is the corner away to our left-hand side. Gibbs-White is going to take it, and. He'll hit it right-footed into the penalty area. Trafford didn't come again, looked a little bit hesitant. The ball bounces on the edge of the box.
Struggling on the crosses.
Eventually it's cleared away by Cullen upfield and through the middle. You're listening to Talk Sport. The ball is out of play over on the far side, and Nottingham Forest are going for the ball. It's picked up by Elanga, and it goes out of play over on the far side.
I sense another goal in this, Sam. What's your gut saying?
Your gut is saying there'll be another goal. There'll be another goal, and it may well be a Nottingham Forest goal, and if it was, it would be very controversial, and that would certainly get the phone lines lighting up tonight, and Burnley would feel hard done by, because they've definitely played their part in this match. It's tossed in from the right side as Nottingham Forest come on the attack again. It's cleared away by Burnley, but they've lost the ball, then won it back again in the thickness of that midfield, where we've seen a number of people been deployed this evening. The switch of play out to the right hand side doesn't quite come off, and Divock Origi is fighting with Berger for it. Goes back to Connor Roberts in the right fullback position, and Al Dakil will see it back to his goalkeeper. 9 minutes plus stoppage time to play on Talk Sport. 1-1 finally poised here. Ball forward up towards the middle of the park, and Mike Trezor in centrally it goes towards Josh Brownhill, helps it on. Scored against Tottenham, Brownhill, after coming off the bench. We're in the captain's armband tonight.
What a move this is, by the way.
Lots of passing and moving through the thirds from Burnley as they produce a cross into the centre, which is not too dangerous from Zaroury, and it's cleared away.
Lyle Foster's on his own, he needs some help there. That was a brilliant move, really calm, plays through the lines. Sander Berger's made a real difference since he's come on. I'm amazed he wasn't starting, really.
A handball is the illegal contact of the touch of the ball with the hand or arm. However, it's not automatically a handball offence every time the ball touches a player's arm. A handball offence is when the player, except the goalkeeper, deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, touches the ball with their hand or arm when it's in a position that makes their body unnaturally bigger, scores a goal against the other team with their hand or arm, or scores immediately after the ball touches their hand or arm.
Well, they'll say he deliberately did it.
Well, it will have to be deliberate, because he didn't score immediately after.
No, they'll say he deliberately
did it. The ball
it.
touches the hand or arm.
I don't think he deliberately handballed that at all, or bicepped it, or whatever you want it. He's running. I think it's a really harsh one, and I think the clear and obvious bar's it was set really high, and now it's gone really low because they're scared to death to make a mistake.
Free kick which is 5 yards short of the D. Away to our right-hand side. Well, the defensive line is 5 yards short of the D. The free kick is very deep inside the Burnley half of the field. Wide on the right. It'll be whipped in by Gibbs-White, trying to get it in behind that defensive line towards the edge of the penalty area. There's a collision involving Yates, which is penalised, and the free kick is given straight away. And Burnley have
it's a shame, really,
again.
isn't it? Because there hasn't been too much contention. Seems to have got everything right, and I think we all agree that was really soft.
Soft, but if it touches his arm, I think they're always going to give that.
It was barely a touch, and it was not deliberate.
They will see it as deliberate because he controls the ball with his arm.
Because he's running.
Because he's running and he's helping the ball on. But the more you watch it back, the less deliberate it looks. But you just wonder if he was using his body to sort of shield the ball away.
His arm actually moves out the way to get his chest onto it. I think they've got it wrong. I really do.
Here's Sander Berger down the right-hand side, moving towards the edge of the penalty area, goes beyond Sangare, does well, clips the ball towards the far post. It's headed away by Olarena and out towards the far side. 5 minutes to go. 1-1 the score live on Talk Sport. It's Burnley who are feeling hard done by after having their goal disallowed that they thought was going to win them the game, and Lyle Foster thought he'd scored for the third game in a row. Here's Sander Berger, who made that right-footed into the centre, looking for Foster, doesn't reach him, goes through to Brownhill, but he's got it again on this right-hand side, and he's starting to dominate the game. Ball delivered into the box, and it's caught by Turner, but he's had a really good spell, Sander Berger, since coming off the bench.
Yeah, he looks comfortable on the ball, good runs without it, nice and elegant when he gets these. He's a really big lad as well, isn't he? He's a real presence.
Well, lots of goals have been scored after the 85th minute in the Premier League this weekend, and a number of results have changed in that time as well. Remember what the situation was at Spurs when the board went up? It was 1-0 to Sheffield United with 12 minutes of added time to play. Villa were behind going into the last few minutes. They won 3-1. Manchester City had to come from behind and win late on. And Liverpool themselves actually had to come from behind as well to win late on. There's 2 late goals in that game that secured all 3 points for them. There's a bit of cramp over on the far side for is that Charlie Taylor who's gone down over on the far side.
He's done well actually, Charlie Taylor, tonight.
And they want to make a substitution. He's on the floor. The referee's saying he's got to get off the pitch. Actually, not Charlie Taylor is not the one down. Charlie's helping out. Is that Cullen who's gone down needing some help? He's in pain, he's asking for a treatment, they're trying to make a change. It's Jordan Beyer who's going to be replaced, and on comes Delcroix in his stead, but they've got to get him off the pitch. And how do you get him off the pitch if he's on the floor suffering with cramp?
Well, the referee, it's not difficult. Let them come on and just then add it on at the end.
Right, Delcroix is on, and Beyer now, who had cramp, is off over on the far side. Change Awonyi for Chris Wood. Chris Wood, who scored that terrific goal against Sheffield United, the winner, late on in the day. Maybe coming on to see if history can repeat itself.
I'd have been leaving Awonyi on with Chris Wood.
Chris Wood is inside the penalty area, so is Divock Origi, waiting for this throw-in from the far side, which will be launched in by Ola Aina, deep inside opposition territory, aimed in towards Chris Wood, comes back to Morgan Gibbs-White, a little backheel edge of the penalty area, Sangare over the top of the bar. Needed to get over the ball and keep it down as it came out on the edge of the penalty area. It was there to be hit, hit it he did, but it was over the top of the crossbar as it flew into the Trent end.
Always think with those ones, it came out, it was a great little setup from Gibbs-White actually, edge of the box. When there's so many bodies, I always try and play, I'd always try and use a side foot to make sure you hit the target and then just hope it gets through the bodies.
Ooh. Way over the top in the end from Sangare. Yates is penalised once again. We're into the 89th minute of the game, and Nottingham Forest might feel as if they've been given a little bit of a let-off here. Vincent Kompany hoping that his team managed to survive and get a point on the board for the first time this season. There's been a lot of churn at both these two clubs. Burnley I'm sure will feel as if they've got work still to do, making everyone settle. It's a very different Burnley team to the one that last played in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. Of the 21 players used by Vincent Kompany already this season, only 5 of them have played for Burnley in the Premier League before.
He can be proud of him tonight. Showed a lot of quality. Good resilience at times, but quality to get on the ball, get back playing in the first half, dominating near the end to get the goal, and then to gather themselves after the equaliser, of course.
Well, they are about to launch a long throw into the box from the left-hand side, and it'll be Connor Roberts who propels it towards the near post, towards Berger. It's away by McKenna, back towards that left, and Nuno Tavares just stands in the way, gets it away. Ola Aina out towards... Well, he tried to get to the halfway line, but it was stopped by Charlie Taylor. It comes back again. A flick by Berger around the corner, and Sangare will have to deal with this and take it away from Brownhill, who's nabbed it in towards Lyle Taylor at the near post, and McConaughey's got his teammate out of trouble because that was a mistake from Sangare.
Yeah, a little bit leggy, a little bit tired. They robbed him in his own box. Tries to square it. McKenna does really well there.
Yeah, Sangare taking it towards the far side, and Brownhill doing brilliantly to win it, trying to pull it in towards the near post, and McKenna had to put it behind and away for a corner kick, which will be taken over on the far side. 7 minutes of added time at the end of the 90, live on Talk Sport. Still lots of time to play here at the City Ground. The ball delivered into the box, right-footed towards the near post, and it's a diving header by Foster, which goes narrowly wide. He came out of the pack towards the near post, glanced it goalwards and hit the side netting.
Too far away. It's too tight an angle, isn't it? Great run from him as well. Look at his energy pressing, or still at 90th minute.
91st minute now, and they've given the ball away, Nottingham Forest, a little bit too casually.
Foul.
And then there's another foul, which is going to generate yet another Burnley set piece. Steve Cooper and Alan Tate just having a bit of a chat down on the near touch line. And Nottingham Forest have got to set themselves for a late set piece. Remember, last season Bournemouth scored conceding more from set pieces. It's through the penalty area towards Al-Dakhil, hits the chest of McKenna and comes out towards this near side. It's away for another throw-in. Across goes Connor Roberts. He's going to launch this one torpedo style. The onslaught is on from Burnley. They've completely changed the style. They play a lot more football from the last season that they were in the Premier League, but they've still got these weapons and they will use them, especially going into the final few seconds of the game. 6 minutes to play. Ball launched in by Roberts into the penalty spot. It drops for Berger. Comes back towards Trésor. It's hit Berger as he strikes the ball forward, Trésor, and now it's cleared away. And Nottingham Forest look to try and counter-attack. What's Nuno Tavares doing there? He tried to skip the ball up in front of him instead of playing it in field, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near side. And they're screaming that there might be an offence inside the penalty area. The Nottingham Forest players are hoping that there isn't one. And
saying an elbow.
There could be an elbow on Yates, which the referee didn't quite spot. Well, was there a foul inside the area on a defender? Was that a penalty? I'm not sure that was a penalty.
That's not a penalty, but Yates is saying he got whacked in the face with an elbow.
Well, Al-Dakhil went down under pressure on the edge of the box. That's been dismissed, I think. And VAR now looking at the possibility of an elbow on Yates by Foster. There was a little elbow into the chest, was there? It wasn't that much, was it?
No.
Enough for a red card? And they are checking a possible red card for violent conduct. I'm not entirely sure that that is the case. He's going to have a look at it anyway, and if he's going to have a look at it, he may well send off Lyle Foster here. There was Foster with a little dig into the chest of Ryan Yates. Referee Rob Jones has travelled over to the referee review area, and he's having a quick look at the monitor here. If he decides that Foster did make contact in an untimely fashion, it will be given as violent conduct, and that will be a 3-match ban, I think. We're seeing the pictures of it again now, and the referee has seen that. He's made his mind up. He's walking away. He's going to do the TV signal, and he's going to give a red card to Lyle Foster. Sent off. Burnley down to 10 men for the last 4 and a bit minutes. What's your view on that?
I can't see where he catches him clearly on the TV, but he does throw his arm out, to be fair. The one bit I don't like about it is that after the ball's gone and he's alright, he's on his feet, he's going up to the ref shouting to him saying, look at the TV, look at the TV, he's hit me in the ribs or whatever. I would never do that.
I think Vincent Kompany, when he speaks to us live on the sports bar, will be a little bit upset about some of the officialdom in the game.
I think he'd be upset more that he's going to lose who's been absolutely outstanding, Lyle Foster. And he shouldn't be throwing his arm out, don't get me wrong, he shouldn't be lashing out, there's no need. But it was a gesture to get off, you know, when someone's holding you.
Ball cleared upfield by Matt Turner. 10 men now for Burnley, who've got to try and dig in for the final few minutes of the game. Connor Roberts has been given a yellow card. Mike Trezor brings the ball down. He's then moved into an offside position as it's played forward by Brownhill. He'll be cut out. It's going to be a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. 1-1. I think Vincent Kompany will think all of the decisions that have gone against him have been marginal or soft.
Yeah. I just don't really get what the relevance is with the 2 minutes to go of Yates running up to the ref, telling him to look at the TV because he got a little.
They would have looked at it anyway, wouldn't they?
I don't think they would have, you know.
VAR would have checked it.
There's no for what reason? Nobody saw it.
They're always looking at it all the time, aren't they?
Still,
Origi has it on the far side, and we've got 2 minutes to go, and the ball's been sent long down the right, and Aina has beaten the offside trap. Can he deliver the ball into the box? He gives it to Gibbs White, comes through to Wood, couldn't connect with it. I think the offside flag would have gone up anyway, and eventually it does. And the last throw of the dice. There's a few tired limbs out there now. Even Gibbs White is starting to stretch off a little bit of cramp away to our left hand side.
Normally Gibbs White would have seen the pass onto the left there, even though it was behind him, because he's got eyes in the back of his head. His vision's tremendous.
Well, no, Alanga was waiting inside the box in an ocean of space, wasn't he? And he didn't quite get picked out. Is there one last chance? As Nuno Tavares bounds forward. Alanga wanted it played a little bit early. He didn't get that ball off Nuno Tavares, who's running down a bit of a cul-de-sac. Gives it back to Alanga now. Back to Tavares. Needs a good delivery into the box. It's to the edge of the area, and Gibbs White, who switches the play to the right. And Aina on the edge of the area, flipping it into the box, away by Berger. It wasn't a great delivery. There was an offside in there anyway. And the referee.
The only thing is, Sam, with the sending off, it's hard to see. I mean, maybe my eyes aren't as good as they were, but he didn't catch him in the face, did he? It's just the chest.
Yeah, it's in the side of the chest.
A get-away kind of throwaway arm off him. I mean, if that's a red card, oh God, we are going mad, aren't we? But I have to reiterate the point. I'm not keen on that. Players running up to ref, showing him to go and look at some TV when he stood on his feet, fine, because he's taking a little arm in the chest. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit different.
1-1 going into the final few minutes. Vincent Kompany, who's seen his team have a goal disallowed towards the end of the game. They thought they'd won it through Lyle Foster. Lyle Foster was then sent off after a VAR review. And Burnley, who I don't think have been helped by the fixture list at the beginning of the season, the stop-start nature to the campaign, where they started against Manchester City with the worst possible fixture and then didn't get to play a second one for 2 weeks because Luton's stadium wasn't ready. And that
you know what was strange?
They're sort of playing behind the 8 ball.
Sorry, Sam. They had a choice to play that game at home, didn't they? And they refused. I found that really strange.
That would have been 4 home games in a row to start with.
So what?
Because towards the end of the campaign, that would have been 4 in a row, probably away from home, when they might be scrapping.
And I'm telling you, when you think you're in a relegation battle and you can get a win early doors, it doesn't half give you some confidence moving forward.
I think it was a bit of a surprise to me initially that it was scheduled in the second week of the season, bearing in mind we all knew that there wasn't going to be ready at Kenilworth Road. Here is a late throw of the dice from Burnley. Running up towards the touchline is Connor Roberts to launch this ball diagonally into the box. It's aimed towards Berger, headed away by McKenna, chested down by Wood, who's kept hold of it here. He's sent it to the left but given it away, and Brownhill has pinched it and moved into the edge of the box. He's swung the ball into the 18-yard area and it's cleared away by Worrell up to Nuno Tavares, who finds Gibbs White. Is there a late charge here from Nottingham Forest? They're not going to get hold of that. It's cleared away by Delcroix. And in the 99th minute, Burnley bring the ball away, despite the fact they've only got 10 men, and they're level, 1 apiece, looking for a winner, both these two teams, who have gone at it really well. It's been a terrific battle and
really
great fun to watch. That was a foul by Cullen. on halfway. A yellow card for him right at the end of the game. And maybe, just maybe, there's one more chance for Nottingham Forest. Gibbs-White, who could hardly move now, he's got cramp, he's hobbling forward at every opportunity, will take this set piece. He's got Ola Aina to his right hand side. They've sent everybody from the back up towards the edge of the Burnley penalty area. This free kick just left of the centre circle. 98 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock in front of us. The ball taken by Gibbs-White and sent high towards the edge of the penalty area. That's the plan. Right-footed. It's up into the air towards McKenna, who approaches it, heads it on. Chris Wood to flick it towards the goalkeeper, who stretches his arms up into the night sky. And surely that's going to be a point apiece now for both Nottingham Forest and Burnley.
I think they deserve it. There we go. Really good game.
Well, Burnley finally put a point on the board. It's not enough to take them out of the bottom three at this early stage of the season, but they might be thinking that they were robbed of all 3 points when Lyle Foster's goal was ruled out for a slight handball by Sander Berger from the VAR moments after Lyle Foster celebrated what he thought was his 3rd goal in 3 games. It will be a boost no matter what going into their next home game live on TalkSport against Manchester United, because they're on the scoreboard at least. Nottingham Forest remain unbeaten at home and go into the top half of the table, but they will feel there's still a little bit of work to do to integrate all their new players from that vast new roster. A thrilling game at the City Ground under the lights on a Monday night. Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 1.
Loved it. Josh Brownhill is in long conversation with the referee. All the Burnley players are joining in that conversation with the officials as well. Vincent Kompany striding across the pitch towards those match officials, and you can understand why. VAR did its best to ruin this one, but you'll never keep a good football match down. This was something very special, full of commitment, full of action. It was a brilliant game of football, and probably a draw's a fair result, but we'll discuss the decision shortly. Craig Bellamy is right in the face of Rob Jones, the referee. He's not having it at all. He's pointing fingers. It's not aggressive. He's just making his point very firmly, Craig Bellamy.
I think he's making a good point. I'm struggling to see where it even hips his bicep, and if it does, it's very, very faint, and I'm struggling with it. I've seen it 5 times. If it touches his bicep a little bit, it's as he's... And then his arm actually moves away because he's trying to throw his chest ahead of his bicep to keep momentum with the ball going forward. It's certainly... do you know what? It's just so annoying.
It's so minimal. Sander Berger's...
It's not clear and obvious mistake.
That's the point that really got me. Okay, you can actually look at it and you can freeze frame it and say, oh yeah, it's hit his arm, that's clear handball. But actually, Scott McKenna's wrestling with him a little bit. Yeah. There's a physical tussle going on. There could be movement of the arm from McKenna, and he might be using his arm to hold McKenna off rather than getting the ball. And this is where we come into the territory of, well, the law book says this, this and this. What does common sense say?
Yeah.
And this is the problem I've got with VAR. It's completely obliterated common sense from football, and that can't be a good thing.
I struggle with the fact that you've got a situation where magic moments are being taken away because of minuscule things.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's a howler, of course. Minuscule. He took 2 minutes and 4 seconds, I think it was timed at, to decide whether that was a handball or not. Now, if it takes 2 minutes, 4 seconds, how the hell can it be clear and obvious error? It can't be, for God's sake.
The common sense thing is really important, I think. And I was speaking to a Premier League manager today who told me that he felt as if, you could see it in the referees, that they...